Hey everyone, Tony D. Welcome to another hot take and the Super Tuesday Fallout edition. Oh boy, there's so much happened. So much! I can barely contain my joy. First off, I called Texas for Biden and he did win it. I was very confident that there aren't enough communist cowboys to vote for Bernie. It's Texas, and you don't mess with Texas, communists. But before we start bashing Bernie and laughing at socialists, let's first say hi to Joan. Hello. Let's first laugh at me, because months and months ago, when Elizabeth Warren was peaking, I did an anti-war comic where I projected a potential civil war if the Democrats won, and I used Elizabeth Warren as the president because I thought, oh well, Joe Biden, that old geezer, he's never gonna win. Probably gonna be Warren. Not that I really care who wins on the Democratic ticket because they're gonna lose to Trump, but so you can laugh at me, ha ha. But first, I have to laugh at the guy in my YouTube comments who supported Bloomberg. Dude, I mean, Bloomberg was an easy call, in my view. You cannot buy an election. You cannot buy charisma. You cannot buy, popular support. You just can't buy certain things. Can't buy love, man. And I don't know how Bloomberg even won American Samoa. I don't know what 10 people live there, and he gave them each $5,000. It's pretty crazy that Bloomberg won anything. All he seemed to do was ruin Pete Buttigieg and be a spoiler in the race. And now he's gone, and he spent $500 million just to give the finger to Trump. And I don't really think he did much to Trump except give him even more fodder to laugh. One of the greatest things, and you should search out Mike Bloomberg's videos and advertisements before they fade away on the internet. But the all-time classic was the last one where Mike goes to like a communal table where his staffers have food, reaches in a box and grabs some pizza, and he tears it with his hands, and then he shoves it into his mouth, and then licks his fingers, and then touches a box. And this was retweeted by Donald Trump Jr., who said, this is a guy who clearly didn't know how to react or wasn't used to eating in a communal food area. But the headline killed me. The headline was, "This is how you spread the coronavirus." Classic Trump. Trump was trolling all day. His Twitter feed was just making me laugh. It was just so embarrassing for Elizabeth Warren to not even come in second in her own state. What a humiliation. I think her political career nationally is over. I guess she'll be, staying as the senator from Massachusetts until she's too old to do it anymore. But, it's just, it doesn't surprise me. I thought Warren was such a phony. She seemed to change her tune a bunch of times over the years. And this sudden, oh, I'm a socialist too. I don't think anybody was really buying it. I think the reason she had some support was there were just a lot of people who wanted to see a female president. They supported Hillary, and then when Hillary didn't win, and Elizabeth started running, they supported her. A few of them supported Amy Klobuchar, but most of them supported her. She had more of a national profile. Oh, you got something in your fur, doggy. So that was pretty obvious that she wasn't going to win, and that her followers were mainly in it for the vagina. So, it was good to see her properly humiliated. Who else? It didn't surprise me at all that Biden cut a deal with Buttigieg. The timing of it certainly seemed fortuitous to Biden. I don't think there's anything sketchy about it. I think it's all very practical. I think the Biden camp went to Buttigieg and Klobuchar and say, listen, what's it going to take for you to drop out? You can't win this thing. What do you want? And they got something. I still say Buttigieg would be a good VP pick. Some people are saying that it's going to be Michelle Obama. I'd find that rather strange. She made a big deal about how she wasn't getting involved in politics. It wouldn't seem, the right thing to do because she doesn't really have any experience. As much as I can't stand Hillary Clinton, at least she was a senator first. I mean, do something first. I was first lady. I don't think that's going to fly. I don't think that's enough. And it seems like a ridiculous pandering move. What can you say about her actual abilities as a politician? Oh, well, while my husband was president, I did stuff. That's the kind of stuff Hillary Clinton tried to trot out and didn't really work. And I realized that was a long time ago, but she did the smart thing and she became a senator. So when she ran for president, it was serious. It was a senator running for president. That's what senators sometimes do. The first lady running for president, it doesn't seem right, especially since it's clear that Biden cannot do a second term. It's not even clear Biden could make it through this campaign, let alone 4 years, 8 years, forget it. So his VP pick is very important. I don't think it's going to be Michelle Obama. I think that would be a crazy choice. Granted, if she got something like Secretary of Education, maybe you could sell that. Maybe, a secretary or cabinet position, maybe you could sell that to me. I wouldn't endorse it, but she does have some skill. I believe she has a law degree, right? Am I crazy to say that she has a law degree like Obama does? I know she has a college degree. I know that. So I mean, a cabinet position, people are willing to sort of be okay with whomever. VP with Biden. Biden's not going to be president in 4 years. He's probably not going to be president in this year. So, but let's get on to the big show here. Yes, Bernie Bros, you're done. I told you the math was simple. Bernie has about 25% of the party who have turned into or joined up with the radical left, the very radical progressives. And these people cannot understand economics. They don't understand math, and they don't care, most of them. They want free stuff. Some of them don't want free stuff for themselves. They want free stuff for other people so they can feel good about themselves. No. No, 1,000 times no, says the rest of the country, says the rest of your own party. If you want to start a socialist movement in the United States, join the Democratic Socialists of America. I'm sure they could use more people to do jazz hands and complain about gendered language and to announce their pronouns before every time they speak. If you want to be part of that, join the Democratic Socialist of America. That's where socialism belongs, in a fringe group of nut jobs who can't get anything done. That's where your fringe idea belongs. And it is a fringe idea. The idea that democratic socialism, like the kind that they allegedly practiced in Nordic countries in Europe, that's not totally true. That's a bit of a sleight of hand. If you look at the real governments there. You can look at, is it Sweden? Sweden or Norway or one of those countries that Bernie kept crowing about is socialist. The leader of that country came out and actually told Bernie, no, we're not socialist. We are a regular country with a big welfare system, basically. And that's true. A lot of places in Europe have big welfare because they're not pissing it away on needless wars overseas. For that, they depend upon the United States or their neighbors, and they just have enough weapons to, fend off an attack if somebody gets antsy. That's the way we should be here, because as a country, we are so insanely rich, and since everybody has the right to bear arms, no other country would possibly ever invade us. Ever. It would just be insane. So imagine if the Chinese government decided to invade America. You can imagine the Bloods and the Crips in L.A. calling a truce and mowing down Chinese soldiers as they attempted to take L.A. That's exactly what would happen. It wouldn't be a cakewalk. They'd bomb the place first before their soldiers came in, but you'd have a lot of pissed off gang members, police, army guys. I mean, it would be an absolute S show. And the United States would become victorious. That's assuming that you could even get close enough to the coast without getting absolutely obliterated by one of our satellites or subs or many jets and all the other military we have. So, listen, Bernie Bros. You're not gonna have Bernie as president, and he's not going to be even the nominee. What you need to do is calm down. Because if you burn Milwaukee, as many of you are planning to do, as many of you are on Twitter screeching, you will again not make any friends. And in fact, if you turn on the DNC, the rest of the DNC will turn on you much harder. Now, they have kind of turned on you. The media is finally starting to turn away from you. And we told you, libertarians and other people who support Trump and people in the middle, centrist, all kinds of people told you this would happen, that the media would turn against you, that media censorship is bad, that censorship online is bad, Facebook, Twitter, all these places. You didn't listen because through most of that, they were censoring on your behalf. They were canceling people that you didn't like. Well, now you're going to be canceled, and you're going to be canceled very hard, and it's going to be shocking to your very snowflake sensibilities. But the thing to do is not to cry and moan and light cars on fire in Milwaukee. The thing to do is to gather your wits and decide first what your principles are. And if your principles aligned with other people, then you can join those other people in a particular principle, like freedom of speech. And you could join with people to tell Twitter, hey, you cannot shadow ban people, you cannot ban people, you cannot, censor people. Get your TOS straight and make it sensible and support the First Amendment in the United States, because you're an American company and you should support the Constitution. If you joined the rest of sanity in doing that, you would yourselves gain some credibility, and you would help us turn the tide in Silicon Valley, where a lot of this tech censorship has erupted. Doggy, what are you eating something? What are you doing? Don't touch that. I don't know what the dog's doing. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyhow, Bernie Bros. Sorry, I forgot to laugh at you. I told you the math was very simple. You have about 75% of the 25% of the party, but the other 75% has other people. I mean, that's just the way it is. Is that a biscuit? Are you trying to get that biscuit? All right, go ahead, go get it. Or do you want to come back up here? Okay. I don't know why you put your biscuit there. That's a weird place to put our dog biscuit. So you only had 25% of the Democratic Party. It's not a lot of people nationally. So you have to remember that half the country voted for Trump, half the country voted for Hillary. So basically, what you're talking about is 25% of the Democrats, 25% of half the country, which, you know, when you break it down, that's really 12.5% of the country. It's not a lot of the country. And you're talking about a lot of kids who won't even go out to vote. They'll get high, or they'll just say, we got this. That's probably exactly what happened in some of these Super Tuesday states the moment you started winning. Have you ever met college kids and teenagers? Have you met them? I've met them, and I've been one. And I know that, you know, if any shiny object crosses their path, they are easily distracted, whether it's, you know, hooking up or they just got something better to do. Very few of them are dedicated enough to actually vote. It's the same problem with what has happened to comic books and video games and all this other woke nonsense. These woke progressive peoples are all over the complaints. They're down the complaint on Twitter and Facebook and all the social media, because there they get magic virtue points that sort of fills their black hearts with joy temporarily. But they don't actually buy anything. They don't actually go see Birds of Prey. They don't actually buy Captain Marvel, the comic book. They don't actually buy the Battlefield game that took place in World War I, where you can make a, you know, social justice warrior with pink hair and one arm and, you know, and make her a soldier. These people, well, according to one study, a lot of them are mentally ill because they hold very extreme views and they live in sort of a utopian fantasy that's in their head. If you are one of these people, nothing I say will change your mind. But if you're kind of a not mentally ill socialist and you'd like to further your goals, well, you have to do it through reasoned argument, and maybe you can gain something. Like maybe you won't gain, you know, Bernie Sanders as your president and a new Politburo, but perhaps you could make some inroads in creating policies that help poor people, or perhaps you can make inroads in whatever you want to do with the government. They're always happy to make it bigger, so I'm sure you could do something that would seemingly help your cause. But screeching and hurting people and hurting their careers and burning down Milwaukee isn't going to help. So I, for one, feel bad because I wanted to see Bernie win so Trump could curb stomp him in November and finally put an end to all this socialist nonsense. Unfortunately, now you have the opportunity to martyr yourself and say, oh, Bernie would have won, if only this and if only that. And, you know, the conspiracy theories will abound. And you could maybe take some solace from that if you want to go down that internet rabbit hole. But your ideas belong on the fringe. So if you're a Democrat, rejoice, because your party has finally regained a portion of its sanity. Now the only thing remains is to kick the Bernie bros out and say, hey, socialist, we're not socialist. Go make your own party. Hey, communist, get out. And let them make their own parties and let them, you know, waste other people's times. Because you don't do yourself any favors by having these people in it. And they are going to prove it to you, Democrats, come the convention. When Bernie doesn't win, those people will make you pay. I'm not saying I want that to happen. Not at all. But I'm saying these people have been threatening on the internet for a while, and they're escalating. And if they're going to finally turn on you, and I think they're ready to turn, it's probably going to be in Milwaukee. So I would prepare. I would tell Milwaukee to bring every cop on every corner they can and try to lock the place down for the convention. Otherwise, you may have, and you've already seen bits and pieces of it, these wackos who protested at Biden's thing. They were protesting Big Dairy. I don't know why that's suddenly a thing now. So be prepared, Democrats, and perhaps you will regain your sanity long enough that maybe when Pence runs for a second term, you might actually have a candidate.